Well, good morning. Welcome to the first panel for the day. As if they need any introduction, we have David Kaye, who plays Beast Wars Megatron. And that other, and Venus Terzo, who plays Blackarachnia. In case people weren't around like yesterday, let me take a couple minutes here. Basically, the first 45 minutes, raise your hand, stand up, ask your question. If you have a character-specific type of question, please say Venus or Dave have a question for you. They'll point at you, they'll answer your questions, and 45 minutes into it, we'll start the lineup again, get your card, and we'll come up and get some autographs. Basically, as with Peter Cullen yesterday, please do not ask them to sign packaging for Beast Wars Megatron or Blackarachnia as they're in the charity auction. And that stuff is on display now in case anyone wants to bid on that stuff. So, or get any idea for bidding on it. And we're going to do that this afternoon. So, without further ado, we got some voice actors to ask questions of. Thanks.
Is this on? Hello?
Hello?
Check.
Check. My time.
Isn't Blackarachnia hot?
I want to know why Megatron doesn't think so.
Don't. First of all, on behalf of you can say it, but thank God we got out of Chicago yesterday because of the storms. It was finally great to be in Rochester. I grew up around this area, actually, not too far from here. So, anybody remember Irv Weinstein or Commander Tom, Rocket Ship 7, Promo the Robot? Anybody old enough? Remember that? Yeah. So what do we do?
I just wanted to thank you all for getting up so early this morning. After
Yeah,
Saturday.
thanks a lot.
This means a lot to David and I that you guys are big supporters and big fans of Beasties and Transformers because without you guys, there's no reason for us to do it. We basically do the voice work in Vancouver, and there's like a whole bunch of us that work in the studio at one time. I myself have the pleasure of working with like 10 adult men who are all married.
Very handsome.
So you can imagine what that's like.
If they weren't married, they might go up.
But,
It's a joke.
but we have
She gets razzed by Cheetor all the time. Ian Corlett is a very, he's just about to become a dad, actually. They should have, probably could have a baby today, if I'm not mistaken, with his wife. And, every session, it's like, well, how come I can't sit beside Venus?
Yeah. I make sure I walk in and I tell the guys, I go, I'm not standing next to that guy.
And there's Optimus Prime. Gary Chalk is a great guy, and he's known in the city. He's a big bear. He looks, I swear to God, he looks exactly like his character.
He does.
Yeah, And well, Scotty McNeil, I think all of you know Scotty's voice. He just got another damn character on the show. That's 4 now. He wanted to be here. How come I can't go to New York? You got 4 characters, Scotty. Come on, relax, buddy. Dinobot and Lost Minute Rat Trap. It's my favorite. Remember that phrase? If a bootin' up cold. That's my favorite line. And they're all just, they all send their wishes and wish they all could be here. And it's a real great crew. And we're glad you're watching because it's a ton of fun to do. So, anybody like to start the bidding now? Do we?
Yeah.
Good questions.
For only $9.95.
Yes, over there.
Who came up with the idea for the Megatron's emit?
That was one of those things in the audition. When we audition for cartoons, and Venus Lands this as well, we each have a different process we go through. they showed us a picture of the character, what they have in mind for the character, and they give us sides or some dialogue. We have no idea really where it fits in the scheme of things. And another thing I think of when I saw the character and saw I had this. It was a brainstorm. I thought I'd just go in, and everything I thought of coming in, I blew away because I thought of Anthony Hopkins, cross between Anthony Hopkins, Alan Rickman, and a lizard. And I finished one sentence, and they just, yes, and then they go, yeah, we like that, do that again. So that was sort of how it went, and I just forgot all about it, and I got the call, and it's like, and they said, yeah, this could be really big, and sure cool to be part of it. And you? She could. Next. All right, thanks very much.
How did it strike you to sort of discover the extent of the organized fandom that developed around this concept when you first got sort of tagged with this, perhaps becoming, for example? What was going through your mind when you heard that all these people were involved in this lunacy?
I myself, for one, I'm not surprised because the show, the characters, the whole concept is, I think, it's great. And the writers, the animators, everyone that works on a show, they know what people want. And I think they're open always to new suggestions and feedback from the fans and people and stuff, and from us, the artists as well. And that's what makes the show great, and that's what really puts things together, and we can come up with a finished product that satisfies not only the fans but us as well as artists. Because I will not work on a show that isn't going anywhere, or they're not open to suggestions from us as well. Because sometimes things will show up in the script and you're like, I don't know, I don't know if my character would do that, but it's always fun to try new things and at least try it. If it doesn't work, then we can do it.
Actually, the producer's funny, we'll try something. I was thinking something, how about if you said this? And the producer's just, no.
No. Yeah.
And other times they'll just say, yeah, let's rewrite this. My take on it, when we were asked to come here, you mean? That's what we were thinking.
Yeah.
Well, actually, my mom was on the internet, which is freaking me out. And she said, your father and I were looking at the internet, and we found the Beast Wars page. And I said, what? I guess there's a few of them out there right now, and I was surfing and looked at them and said, oh, he's doing something cool here. But Sue Blukim, the director, I wish she could have been here. She's a fireball. I don't know if any of you have ever met Sue. She's a director on the show. She was the original RC, I think.
Yes.
The only female Transformer.
And she really, really wanted to be here.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, she has
Commitments. But I remember the first session where they brought video cameras in to take all of us in our actions and stuff. The little thing that Megatron does with his hand, they got that, and there's some things that you do that they use, and Scotty does. And she sat down in the chair. She's about 2 feet tall. And, this is gonna be big, guys. This is gonna be so huge. This is gonna be, wow. I'm excited. Yeah. What did she say?
Guys,
Guys.
we get together, she
Yeah.
talks like this. And
Yeah.
she's great, though. She's amazing. She's done so many projects and stuff. And she wanted to say hi to everyone and let you all know that she really wished she could be here.
It's pretty cool to be here. It really is. It's neat. No other cartoon series.
Someone's going to ask, someone's going to laugh, and you say yes and next one.
I'm putting on the contract thing, There's a lot, in sort of to add to that question, a lot of people say, how do you find the voice for these characters? Because both of us do. I don't know, you lose track of the series of voices you do. There's always one line that will bring back a character. You're in there going, okay, what did I do? And it's always the line, Maximal Scum. And I find it more and more often, and people say, they're doing things with your voice, and I think, okay, and I have to do the thing to tell them I'm not, so it's kind of embarrassing a bit, but I'm getting used to it. They put them all together. I don't know if in Chicago, Doug Parker brought a tape, I think. And,
You showed it yesterday.
oh, did you see it? Oh, is it here? Oh, I want to see it. I want to see it later on.
Sideline Bob Ford, if you can't get him.
Oh, is he? Cool. There's a question over here somewhere.
I'm just gonna remember it.
We're all looking at you.
You know.
Focus on you.
How much of the characters themselves, the personalities and whatnot, are from the writers, and how much are from your own minds?
That's a good question. In every character that I've done, usually we go into the audition, they give you sides. I only give you one page, brief description of the character, and maybe a paragraph or so of dialogue. And you look at it, and it's always written. Every character is written so specifically, and you kind of take it and you look at it and you go, okay, what can I do with this character without sounding like the Wicked Witch of the East? You know what I mean? And sometimes it's hard, and sometimes it isn't. And I look at it, and I think there's a little bit of, like we were talking about earlier, femme fatale, and good side and bad side to each and every one of us. And in real life, I'm generally very happy-go-lucky, really bubbly. And when I go into the studio, I get to have some fun. Play. So I think there's a little bit of me in the character definitely, and vice versa.
Yeah, it's fun to play. You always remember that even though you're playing an evil character you perceive as evil, when you're playing that character, you're not a bad guy. You play it as if you're doing the best you can with what you have at the moment. Even when somebody auditions, there's an old story about somebody auditioning for a film television role about, the old psycho killer sort of thing. And he's not a bad guy in his mind. So whenever you're playing a character, like, our Predacons, we're doing a good thing here.
That's selfish, mind.
Yeah, we're selfish, and we want to do the best that we can.
How much did you know about your characters before you went in, and what drew you to those two characters that you are playing now?
Second part of your question?
And what drew you to those characters that you auditioned for? Did there something in the personality you said, oh, I like this, I got to try this character?
And he said, give me the leads.
Yeah.
I like the evil guys because they're more fun.
They're more fun to play.
Yeah, I think it was great. You played heroes.
Yeah, I played heroes, and some of the heroes that I played are a lot of fun too, just depending on the writers and what's happening with the show, what's going on. But something, in the Beasties and stuff, it's really a lot of fun to play the characters.
Well, you see it. It's I don't know if you've seen it. Remember Deadly Do Right?
I'll take you now.
There's one show. The hero has always had those lines. I'll be back when the fat lady sings. One of those. And the evil guys are always, they got different levels. They get different levels to play with, and as a character, that's neat to explore. And then somebody else here.
Yes, do you plan on doing more voices next season?
Yeah, we just recorded our first episode of season 2 a few weeks ago, and we record this Tuesday.
But I think in August.
In August, yeah. That's episode 2 and 3, I think, probably the second season. There's even talk about the next one or something. I can't remember. There's some neat things going to be happening with that show. Yeah, CGI has a kernel it up. Yep.
Okay, refer to Megatron.
Yeah.
Say Blackarachnia. All right.
Blackarachnia terrorized.
When the two of those spiders get together, man, that's a freak show when watching. Alec Willows, he kind of even looks a little bit like. we have to stop sometimes and watching them. Okay, moving on.
And he does. He
Oh, he's right
literally
into
takes
it.
on his mannerisms, his hand. He's like, you can almost just see it, you know.
I wish you could. I really wish you could all, see a session being recorded. It is the most amazing thing to do.
And you should definitely hear the outtakes.
Oh yeah.
Why?
This put up to have more than silly bridge.
Yeah. I don't know how many times Ian has told Gary, okay, big butt.
Yeah.
Hey, what they call me that for? What do you do? Yeah. Get back to you for 1 second. I know the girl here is
On that note, I don't know if you would even know, but like, would they be open to making like a making of Beast Wars, or, I mean, that would be cool. I bet, you know, to show them like.
What's your robot monster
Well, robot boy's gonna go for something.
May I actually bring a camera in and film a session or something? Or,
Yeah, something like.
yeah?
Well, you know what would happen, right? I mean, being an actor and all, and
Oh, we'd all start performing.
oh, we
Yeah.
all start performing.
Where's the camera?
Well, fighting for, you know, like.
And the Scotty's not my camera.
And we should mention this about Scott McNeil, that he buys his like highlighter pens, and he's got a specific color for
Every
each
toy.
character. And the rest of us are superstitious because we refuse to go out and buy new highlighters in case the show doesn't come back for some reason. You know, in case we buy a whole new set and it's like, sorry, but you're not going to be working again. And I always borrow his, so he's like, I need that color. You know, I'm using it for this character. You know, he's gets.
Just think about a room full of about 10 children.
Yeah.
And it's like a kindergarten class sometimes.
It is. The director has to, you know. Okay, guys, settle down.
Come on, please. Yes, the green shirt back there?
I was wondering how you feel about the blatant sexuality of the character Blackarachnia.
Well, that depends on how you look at it. I think that all characters, represent and have different qualities and act certain ways. And I think, not to stereotype, female characters or anything, but I believe that you can act a certain way, you can do certain things without going over the top or without stereotyping that as, oh, she uses her sexuality to get what she wants. Really, it's just playing games. It's like cat and mouse. You just have fun with it, and you just kind of, explore all different possibilities and avenues. And there are times where she uses her sexual charm to get what she wants, and there are times where she just, puts her foot down and says, oh, I've had it, and that's it. I'm gonna, go for it. But, and I believe that, Megatron too is very, very. He's very charming. He's very charming. Evil characters, the way they just have a way, and it's almost like it's very melodic. You just the words roll off his tongue, and he's always thinking and planning and plotting.
Yeah. There's what's Jim Burns' character, the ant? Inferno. There's another guy to watch. The royalty! Oh, for crying out loud. The royalty already. You and your royal, what is that? There's one line in one of the episodes, I think it's already been out, he said something, he's like, oh, I like him. And you can play it, there's all kinds of different ways you can play a character. The more levels you bring to it, the more interesting things. You don't really know what the character's thinking, but you can feel it, or whatever. Yeah.
I was going to say, first, that fun is just screaming in the microphone a little while. What did you think when you first, I don't know how much you saw of what it was going to look like on screen while you were recording. How you sort of saw the final product when you first did your first show, you guys would see what your alter ego looked like on screen, how you sounded.
We all laughed because they all looked like sort of elements of each other, especially Gary, his son. Big mug up there. We were all just amazed. Just like
We were blown
kids.
away because a lot of the shows we've done are actually animated cartoon shows, and this is computerized, and it's just amazing. just amazing. And we were in the studio, we put it up on the big screen, and we were all like, oh my God, this is great.
It's great to watch on a big screen, by the way. Big monstrous screen.
Next
Yeah,
year.
because they showed us different characters. It wasn't too long after the first episode, and how they run, how they're making them, what stage they were at with the characters. You know how they run, sort of thing, and then the restaurant and the Geo was neat because it showed us facial movements. It's getting, in every episode, it's getting better and better. The technology and the crew that's working on the animation, they're just amazing people. I can't remember what it takes, so like for 5 minutes or a minute or two of computer rendering, it takes, I don't know, overnight or a week or something like that.
I think 7
7 days.
days for just,
Or 10 minutes rendering. Being the voice of the computer, matching the faces. It's pretty wild. We'll go to the break back there. Yep.
What's the status on the spiders for the second season?
I'm here now. I don't know what's going to happen. They haven't really told us anything. We don't get scripts in advance. A lot of times we find out we're recording, and scripts won't be available until the day, that we walk into the studio and record. So we don't know what's going to happen. I know there's going to be lots of changes and certain things, but they haven't. We're in the dark, so they haven't.
What's the difference between working with the Rama cast and the Venus staff?
We never see each other.
Yeah, that's right. Ranma is ADR, so basically you're in the studio and stuff, and you hear the 3 beats, and then your voice has to match the mouth movements of the characters. So you're working alone, and it's still a lot of fun, but not as fun as when you're doing pre-late, because you can go crazy and do all sorts of things, and they match, the cartoon or the character to your voice as opposed to the other way around. So you're a little more limited, but it's still, it's more fun working with a group of people because you can be more creative and try things.
Yeah, the engineers on the show are fun to work with.
It's not an easy question, but with Rama, have you seen the reference version of the episode before we did your...
Yes, in the studio.
Yeah, they showed it to us.
And sometimes, like the producer, Toshi, he does all the
Casting or
not the casting,
translation?
the translation. So sometimes his translation, like he might write something down and it'll work, and sometimes it won't. So we listen to the Japanese anime just to see how far they go with it, or if they're screaming, or if they're running, how far to go with this, but it helps us.
It's a lot different though. I've never seen Song, my character, one time, and he sounds like, and mine is like more like, ooh, it's different. It's completely different. It's a different take on it. So it doesn't really help me too much.
How much leeway is there to go away from a script? Like, if you have another idea on how to do a scene, will the director let you do it, or do they make you pretty much follow what the script is?
They'll let you do it and go, that was wonderful, that was great. Okay, can you do it again and do it this way? That's what basically happened. The producer director really have the final say as to what they want. I mean, you could put your creative input, and then they'll do a couple of takes and keep both, and then decide later on what works and what doesn't.
The more human you can make the character, the better. The more you can throw in there. They may have a line that says there may be 4 words in it, and we all know as humans we talk to one another a different way. And if you're into your character sort of thing, and I may throw a yes on the end of a certain sentence, or a no, or I may just throw in there, and they just may continue on and keep it because it just sounds like the character would do that. Or sometimes just stay with the script. There's a great episode coming out in the new season. I think we can, I'll tell you that the Dinobot has this soliloquy from Shakespeare. And Bob Forward was anxious to, told us last night that he couldn't wait to get in there. And Scott did a great job.
Yeah.
And looking forward to seeing that. It's really cool.
Yes.
Okay, this is another aspect to Bob's question. He asked about the vocals. I asked about the character actions on screen. Do you get to say anything like, I think I'd like to kick Cheater in the head? Use more time. I want to keep him 10 times.
We do that to him after the show.
Yeah.
characters do you do the voices for in the Ranma 1/2 series?
I play female Ranma.
Oh.
Yes.
Whoa, 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 whoa.
How familiar were you guys before you got into Beast Wars? How familiar were you guys with Transformers?
Transformers?
Oh, I watched those, sorry. All right.
There's a line.
Oh, right. I watched it off and on as a kid, the first series. I remember. I had a couple of the toys, little Hot Wheels. Somebody had come out with little metal ones. I can't remember. They changed.
They were all metal in the older series.
I can't remember, but I remember watching off and on. Yeah.
My brother was he had the toys and cars.
Yeah.
I tended to like Bugs Bunny and shows like that. Growing up. And tastes change, you know.
It's funny, sometimes you go to an audition, we don't want it so cartoony. You go to the next one, we don't want it so real. We want it more cartoony.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think you do it the exact same way.
Yep. That's right. Yes?
Dave, I really like the character you're playing on Exo Squad.
Oh, you remember that?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
A character like your own is differently from someone like Megatron.
I was still earlier in my career, so with Megatron, the more you learn more, the more you can throw into a character. With Draconis, he was I saw that little piece of tape the other day about where Mike Donovan said something, and I said, "Out questions for everyone, feed the book." And that was I remember that line because that sort of launched into the next batch. Ever since I played Draconis, I've been starting to get called in, cast as evil characters like that. That was a fun show to do. Robbie Benson wasn't in the studio ever. We never saw him. He was in L.A. We all recorded. Gordon Hunt was the director on that. That's Helen Hunt's dad, Helen Hunt from Mad About You. And he was up directing in Vancouver. He's a nice guy. Real nice guy. It was a neat series to work on. You were in that one? You weren't in that one? Oh, geez.
Well, on Exo Squad, Gary Chalk was the voice of Marcel. And did you, I don't know how the voices were recorded on the show. Did you ever meet him there?
Gary?
Yes, he was the voice.
Oh yeah, he was there. He was the voice of everyone on that show. Yeah, we were all there. There's a tape actually, so they couldn't bring it. There's a tape of Gary. One of the shows he had to burp. And he figured, I'll just get a can of Coke, big Gary. And then Coke, and he burps, and he can hear it. He almost threw up, I think. and it's around, it's making the circles in Vancouver. It's like this gurgling sound and fizzing. And everybody, you can hear Doug Parker and Ian, and they're all. Whenever Gary gets out of hand, we bring that up.
Are you kind of, a lot of people from Beast Wars tend to show up on the same cartoon shows in groups. I mean, like, there's a couple of you in Ranma. Gary, Ian, and Scott were all in like the Mega Man cartoon. And do you just stick together, or is that just pretty much coincidence happening?
The cartoons first came to Vancouver about seven or 8 years ago. And the first show we did was Captain M. And that's what started off the Nintendo, our show that we started doing with Sue Blue and doing with that whole group of people. And it was a lot of people auditioned. We really, at the beginning, had no clue what we were doing, what we were getting ourselves into. And through that, there's been a few of us that have been working lots, and sometimes they'll bring in new people, they'll audition, they'll hear new tapes. And other times we just, based on experience, and it's also if they know you and they know that you can do the job, they're looking for something specific, they'll bring in, certain people for certain things.
It's a tough group to crack into. You know, it took me 2.5, 3 years to finally get called in and to finally start working with these people. Like I always, admired, Scotty, and I used to go and do, my commercial sessions. I'd look out the window and there'd be Scott and Ian and Gary. They'd be outside, yakking away. Gee, I'd love to be able to do that with those guys. That'd be so cool. And it's amazing now because I'm working with them. It's like in LA, Rob Paulson, Jim Cummings, who does Winnie the Pooh. Those are people I look up to in a major way. And I met them, and those guys work on every show because they'll bring in a bunch of actors, and they'll even bring in new people. And they'll even say, we lose Jim Paulson a lot, and Jim Cummings. Let's bring in some new people. And they'll bring somebody in, they'll bring in Jim Cummings. Hey, who's that voice? That's Jim Cummings. Oh, well, let's get them. And they'll just keep, they're good. There's a group of people in Vancouver that are real good, and they bring them in, and we all seem to, lucky enough to get the jobs. They introduce new people sometimes, and it's a tough group to get into. But once you're in, you have more chances because they'll bring you in for all the series.
Hey, you're working on this project too.
Yeah.
It seemed like there was a kind of a informal group.
Yeah, we're all good friends. Voice actors tend to get along really well. The on-camera stuff, and it's the same as in LA and in Vancouver. There's some people that were more down to earth. We don't deal with trailers. We still both of us do a lot of movie and TV stuff. But we're just more down to earth. The voiceover people seem to be that way for some reason. It's a very competitive industry, but when you see your butt at an audition, hey, you doing? Hey, and I think when we meet each other in an audition, it's like, hey, you doing? How you doing? Hey, how you doing? Hey, what's going on? We don't say anything for an hour to each other. We don't have a good time, and we get along really well. We know we're competing against each other. But film, TV, it's like you think somebody's going to suggest one of your friends for the role that you're going to go out for, and it wouldn't happen. But we do that in voiceovers.
For Venus, who did you play on it? And do you really like spiders or something?
I'm not afraid of spiders. I'm not. I hate worms and snakes but spiders. Although I heard there was one around somewhere. I like you. I didn't get the reaction. No, we heard there was a snake around. So yeah, you know what it is? I think it's just fear of not really knowing what they're capable of or what they're capable of. I think that's what scares me. I played John Ritter's girlfriend or date for the evening, who had just a small couple scenes. But he was a lot of fun because when I first we went for the research, so we found out that we got the job, and I had the guy from WKRP in Cincinnati. Yes. And he was sitting next to me, and I had John Ritter here, and I walked up to Tim Reed and I said, hi. I said, it's so nice to meet you. I said, my name is Venus. And he's like, yeah, right. and John Ritter actually stuck my foot in my mouth. I'm like, oh my God, I grew up watching you. And he's like, I'm not that old. But he was really a lot of fun to work with. Yeah, great guy.
Venus, I know you were on it before, but have either of you two acted anywhere else and so well, as in movies or films?
One of the last projects that I worked on was a movie with Morgan Fairchild and Chandra West. It was an NBC review movie. I've done series. I've had recurring roles on 2 Canadian series. One was Street Legal, and the other one was Madison. Street Legal is like an LA law show. And Madison, I played the older woman who seduces the younger student.
Yeah, this has been a very fortunate month for me, just doing 3 projects. One's called The Goose's Child with Charlie Sheen. they're doing right now some mini-series. Just finished working with Robert Mitchum, just passed away a few weeks ago, and I just finished working with his grandson on a project. I played one of his brothers in a movie called Some End of Story, and it's for Lifetime, I think it is, Lifetime channel, is that right? And going on Monday, tomorrow, I'm going to start shooting a movie called, what is it, Baby 2000, movie of the week. We've both done some X-Files, and it's a fun show to work on. I saw Jillian in the gym actually a few weeks ago, pumping up for the next season. So it's a busy city for that right now. It's a lot of fun.
Yes.
What kind of background have you had before voice acting? And what kind of education have you had in the field?
I myself went to school in Montreal. I went to, je commence mon éducation à Montréal. Oui, I went to the Dome Theater. It was a 3-year professional theater program after high school. And then moved to Vancouver. And was very fortunate because that's when things were just starting to happen. That's how I got started.
Me? Basically, I came from a radio background, and it was a tough thing to do to get into voiceovers and cartoons, because the first thing you think is, he's a radio guy, it was 5 degrees outside, and it's tough to break that stigma. I came from that, and I started studying with people who studied in London, the Royal Academy, and American Academy of Dramatic Arts, working with a guy now named Michael Sims, who's on a movie with, what's that movie? It's Captain Picard, what's his name? You know, Patrick Stewart right now. Michael's one of the main henchmen on that movie. He's a great guy. I studied with him and did a lot of theater. And then that's the more theater I did, the more TV and film roles, and the more actually cartoons I started to get. It's very important to have training, because they don't hire voice people, they hire actors. It's person people. Way back?
What did you base Beast Wars Megatron voice on? Because I always thought he sounded a bit like Scar from The Lion King.
Oh, what is he based on?
Yeah.
Oh, when I auditioned, it's a cross between Anthony Hopkins, Alan Rickman, and a lizard is how I sort of, created that. And put a little, sometimes he curls his mouth up in the corner, and that sort of comes out as well. It's just, I don't know where it comes from, but when you come to think of it, they're all in that same vocal range, the realm. Scar's a great character. I love that character. It's one of my all-time favorites.
Yes.
What would you say is your favorite or most memorable role today?
For me, Megatron. Yeah, for me, Megatron.
In voice work,
or otherwise?
That's a really tough question.
Yeah.
To have to be very honest, I really enjoy doing voice work, because like I mentioned earlier to a few people that I was talking to, is that it doesn't matter what you look like, how tall you are, how heavy you are, how dark your hair is, or how light your hair is, that you go in there and you can have fun and get into the character and be the character, and it's just strictly based on your voice. And you work with a great group of people, and that to me is fun. When I wake up in the morning, it's like, yeah, right on, I'm going to work today, and it feels good. Whereas other projects, sometimes, like other film roles and stuff, if I'm in it from the beginning, if I've got a lead role, it's great, because you've got a lot of input and you're there and you feel like you're part of it. But sometimes we're day players. So, I'd say voice work and Transformers, and Ron was a lot of fun too.
I like Stanley Kowalski too, but I did Stanley Kowalski in Streetcar. It was scary. It was real scary, but he was neat. Yep.
What do you like best about your respective characters?
I keep going back to the word, Megatron is regal. There's something very royal about him. I don't quite know how to answer that. I think his unpredictability. If I would equate him to some sort of character, I would say he was some sort of blue blood from way back, you know, whatever.
Well, who got bored?
You know, his unpredictability and his calmness in a situation. He gets upset once in a while, but the best thing about Megatron is he doesn't need to shout and scream to get a point across. You know, it's more or less, if somebody tells you, don't do that again, or else, it's like, oh, you stop it. But somebody says, don't do that to me again, I'll kill you. It's very calm. Yep.
Well, as you all know, there's not very many female characters around, so it's tough for the female voice actresses in Vancouver because all of us really work hard and we all want to work, but we all really want the jobs that are best suited to us. And with Blackarachnia, she's just a combination of things. The director that we work with, the scripts, the way the lines are written, it makes it very easy for us to have fun with it. And I live a little bit. I like the fact that she's evil, that she tries things, that she's just as powerful, if not more than the guys. And I really believe that it's important, and it's important for women because, not to get into all this, female stuff, but it's just, I really think that women are equal to men, and they can be just as strong and just as interesting as the male characters.
Yeah, she could, Blackarachnia could run the whole show. She could run the Predacons very Actually, I'd like to see that on an episode. Bob, where are you?
Was Blackarachnia involved from the very beginning of Beast Wars? Because I know she wasn't introduced right away.
She wasn't involved in the beginning. This occurred later.
Later?
I didn't, yeah. They had recorded a few shows, and then they brought some Blackarachnia, and they brought Air Razor.
But you weren't signed on from the beginning?
No, because I think that they were just they were trying to work out. They weren't sure what they were going to do and when they were going to do it.
Somebody else? Back here somewhere. Yeah.
Which is your favorite episode?
The last one.
Yeah. I really like the final episode before the season. And the season ender. That was me. And Gary gets killed.
And that makes a lot more room for the rest of
Yeah, there's more room in there. Hey, Gary's gone.
Venus, what's it like to play a male character on Raw?
She's a man who, it's tough. It's tough, but it's a lot of fun at the same time because it's really, they didn't want a real big character voice for it. They wanted it to be as natural as possible, and there's a constant struggle because I want to go deeper with it. And I want to, it's like, what are you doing? Like, I'm a boy. Like, leave me alone. And then she's like, got these big, But it's a lot of fun. I think it's harder for the female who plays the male one. That's a stretch.
And she's not coming back next year.
No, she's not.
Yeah, she's in New York. Yep.
For David, what's it like being defeated by Rhinox Splash?
Actually, last night I was topic of conversation when I went with the Hasbro guys. And then, the funniest scene they thought was that picture of the Bean episode. Picture of Rhinox button there. Yeah, that was fun to do, that was. Man, we laughed for a few minutes after that. We couldn't settle us down.
Okay, let's take a break. Come on.
I think that for my character, I'd like to see her get more involved and sort of take over and just run the show for, just a few episodes. I think the opportunity to do that anyway. It would be lots of fun. It's always fun when you're,
I actually like to see her become the brains of the operation. I think, I'm sure he is, but actually Megatron to realize that he has something good here. You should use your capabilities more. And I like to kick Cheater's butt.
On that note, we're going to close the question and answer portion of the panel. Everybody wait 2 seconds. Round of applause.
So if we could calmly form a line that kind of skews over to this side of the room.
Thank you.
Push the button, Joe.
Push the button.
The lights out.
Open up. Come on,
Hey, good to meet you. Ryan. Good, excellent. Anywhere you can find
Hi, how you doing?
Thank you.
Nice to meet you. Yes, I just want to say that from Quebec City, and even though there's not a lot of people who understand English, the show is very popular anyway. Is that right? Yeah, Oh, great. Excellent. And just sign on next to your face. Is that me there? Yeah, I think it's you there. Is it me? Vous êtes Nemo, là?
Oui,
Ok.
c'est Nemo.
Moi, je viens de Québec.
No, they won't.
Right here? Right here. It's amazing.
Venus Terzo. Oh, we got a couple questions for you, brother. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Very busy.
Yeah, you're so.
I'd love to know how you feel. And they're always willing to work and try something. Okay.
Hi. If it's any consolation, my girlfriend's probably more terrified of worms than you. She'll like, get away from me.
Yeah, I was doing that. I remember that.
Yeah, you've got high cheek.
Who is?
They're tricky.
This shit?
They're both very